Right away, sir.
Say, that's pretty impressive.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Mission Yozakura Family, Chapter 201, Party's Over. I don't know. We'll see about that. We start with a brief recap of the last chapter, where Tayo defeated Alexandria and brought this whole wedding sham to a close. Obviously, Kyoichiro has tied up Ryu with his steel spider and is about to torture him, which, you know, normal Kyoichiro business, nothing interesting to see here. Oh yeah, and real quick, last time Carrot 10 TV actually pointed out, I hope I'm saying that right, by the way, that throughout Ryu's flashback with Takemi, we see Asa's logo plastered literally fucking everywhere in the background. I don't know how I missed that, but that pretty much foreshadowed, like, everything that's gonna happen in this chapter, so thank you for pointing that out. I would have never seen that. Alright, moving on though. So Tayo and Shinzo are holding Kyoichiro back from ripping Ryu's toenails out one by one, before Katana joins in by giving Kyoichiro tips on how best to get at Ryu, as Mutsumi and Nanao are showing all the guests out in the background. Katana claims Ryu deserves everything that's coming to him, considering this whole wedding farce thing was his whole idea, to which Ryu starts trying to give excuses, saying that he thought that Shinzo and Katana would be perfect together since they were childhood friends and whatnot. To which they both respond that that's exactly why they both knew this plan was doomed from the start, as they both explain to Ryu that Katana is extremely averse to muscular buff men. So I have a chance! And this revelation shocks literally everyone else. Even Kaya and Kyoichiro are like, huh? But Katana goes on to explain it's because whenever she sees a big macho dude that she just instantly thinks of Ryu, and it kills any possibility of a romantic interest. And this fucking breaks Ryu's mind, while everyone else is just like, oh, no, yeah, that makes sense. And she also adds that since Takemi used to always go on about all of his different weapons and stuff, she can't handle another word of it, so Shinzo is quite possibly the worst matchup for her. But I mean, I'd like a buff dude that builds weapons. That's a man I can get behind.
That's what she said.
Kyoichiro then goes on to make fun of Ryu for how shitty his plan was from the very beginning, but he ends up letting his personal grudges go in consideration for Shinzo's feelings. Which, hey, he's getting better, slowly but surely, folks. He's becoming a normal, functioning human being. And Ryu expresses that he's a bit sad that he didn't get to run the ones with Kyoichiro. Then Kyoichiro declares the wedding officially over before going into serious mode and restraining Ryu more securely, shocking him and everyone else in the room, as he declares that it's time to get to business. This is when Kai steps forward to question Ryu on what the true intentions behind this whole wedding ceremony was, as it was not just to have a wedding. Go figure. This is when he whips out a resignation letter that Ryu actually had left behind. He had apparently found it when he went to Ryu's office in order to get him to call off this whole wedding, when he noticed a fingerprint on Ryu's desk using his super senses and whatnot, which was suspicious to him because Ryu's always very anal about keeping his desk clean when he leaves and whatnot. So he opens the drawer and he finds this resignation letter, which was not only a resignation from Spy Day, but a resignation from the Spy Association as a whole. Kai then goes on to explain the contents of this resignation letter, where Ryu goes on to nominate candidates to usurp him, and give other instructions regarding what to do after his departure, as well as containing several thank yous and farewells to people he knows and loves. Kai then sums it all up as to say that rather than a resignation letter, this reads more like a will. So yeah, that's fucking crazy. Even Katana's completely caught off guard by this. But it doesn't end there, folks, because Kyoichiro adds that Ryu was live streaming this entire wedding until Shion hacked all the accounts viewing the stream and destroyed their devices and whatnot. Well, all but one. A single account with the only identifying information about it they can find being Asa's logo. Okay, that's the last time I'm doing that, I promise. But yeah, that essentially brings full circle the Asa logos we saw in the background of Ryu's flashback last chapter. It seems that, for whatever reason, Ryu has double-crossed the Spy Association in order to leak information to Asa about the abilities of the Yozakura family. That's why this whole wedding thing was created, in order to piss them off and spring them into action, as hypothesized by Kyoichiro at the very least. I should also add that Ryu looks incredibly guilty throughout this whole thing. He is not trying to hide this shit at all. This fucker has the guiltiest look I have ever seen. Then we get a badass panel of Kyoichiro and Kai, two straight men, glaring into Ryu's soul, or at least Kai is. Kyoichiro's still doing his business, but I'm assuming he's glaring behind his closed eyelids. Kyoichiro's still restraining him with the steel spider, and Kai whips out his box cutter, which, if you ask me, far more terrifying. They allow Ryu a chance to explain himself before they presumably turn him into a big mosaic sensor on the next page. And we also quickly see Taiyo observing this whole situation, completely thrown for a loop. He did not pick up on this at all. He's in the same boat as us, if not less informed. Then Ryu gives a cheeky little chuckle, saying he has only 2 things to say to everyone. I love you all. Farewell. And as he says this, fucking Dr. Mozu spawns out of the ground like this goopy slime substance, fucking Goop from Ben 10, before wrapping around Ryu, turning him into slime and sucking them both into the ground. Okay! Everyone is understandably completely fucking taken aback by whatever Looney Tunes bullshit just happened right in front of them. But before Katana and Shinzo can really start to freak out, Kyoichiro turns to Nano, who's already aware of the situation. He gives us a quick sort of recap on Mozu, how she's a former gold-ranked spy that betrayed them to join with Asa. But he has no clue as to why she fucking showed up here and stole Ryu. Shion also notes that Ryu and Mozu's signatures are completely gone from the building's premises already. Kyoichiro then says that while they may not know what she's doing or why she's doing it, they can take a pretty good guess as to where she's gonna go from here. We then see Mozu and Ryu traveling underground in that slime form. I don't know if they're on the pipe or if they're just like swimming through the ground like fucking Sekko or whatever. But regardless, Mozu is contacting Asa, telling him that they'll arrive at his location in roughly an hour's time. This makes me really curious as to where Asa's hideout even is, because, like, is it underground or is it an hour away from wherever they just were at the wedding? Like, or is Mozu just really fucking fast? Like, what's the deal here? We then see Asa respond to Mozu's communication, and we also see these 4 sort of silhouettes behind him, I guess. They're not really silhouettes. The only silhouetted part of them is their face, I guess. And I take it these guys are going to be our last group of main antagonists for the series. I don't know what their relation to Asa is, but they're all clearly wearing the same outfit. And I can't tell if it's just like the silhouette, so that's all we're seeing, but they all seem to have the same colored hair, so I don't know if that means anything. But the most interesting thing to note, obviously, is how, I guess, demonic and otherworldly a lot of their appearances are. We see a full-on cat girl with ears, a tail. There's this dude who looks kind of like Aoi, who's got these like tiny little demon wings on his back. And then there's some tiny imp-looking motherfucker with this fire hair and elf ears. And then this dude who has just got a devil horn. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even notice the devil horn the first time. I thought that was just part of his hair. He's probably the most normal looking one among them. But that's all we really see of them. We don't get any dialogue from them this chapter, so I'm really curious as to what these guys are gonna do going forward. Regardless, we cut back to the wedding hall where Shinzo's about to step into action against Mozu. I don't really know what he was planning on doing. Maybe using turmeric to break the ground or something? I don't know. He's doing his best, guys. He just wants to help. But regardless, he's not able to do anything because he's quickly stopped by Nanao, who says he's a much better fit for the situation considering they're up against Mozu. We then briefly cut to Mozu and Ryu again, who are still swimming underground, where she explains to Ryu how they are made of slime right now. Don't ask the logistics, they just are. And they have to be quick since she knows that Nanao is likely to pull some bullshit here. And she is right on the money as Nanao shrinks down to his real form and charges up this big, slimy biomass ball, I guess. I don't know what this thing is. I don't think we've seen him do this exact thing before, but oh, this panel's so sick. When this comes to an end, I assume somewhere in the next 100 chapters, Gundaira, please, I'm begging you, write another manga. Like, take a break if you want to. Obviously, Weekly Shonen Jump is a fucking hellscape, but man, I need to see more of what you can draw. But Nanao goes on to say that since they have so many questions for her, why not just ask her directly? So I assume this is going to be some sort of way for him to grab her or whatever. I really don't know what's about to happen, but to be fair with Nanao, we never fucking know what's going to happen. And whatever it is, we're going to have to see it next chapter because that is what brings this chapter to a close. Whew, what a fucking ride that was, folks. I'd almost say that was crazier than chapter 200. I mean, at least in terms of plot developments. I am a sucker for a good plot twist. Though, like I said last chapter, I did figure something was up. I really didn't think the wedding was just going to be over and all would be said and done. But I did not clock Ryu betraying them to join Asa. I mean, maybe there's some like deeper explanation for it, because Ryu doesn't seem like a bad guy. I don't know, man. I just don't know who to trust anymore. I'm gonna have to give this chapter an 8 out of 10. Really good tension, in my opinion, with this whole Ryu reveal situation. I love seeing Kai do some stuff. I love seeing Nanao pop off. I cannot wait for more of that next chapter. Seeing Asa subordinates got me so hyped. I love all of their designs. They look so fucking cool. Well, I don't know. Maybe besides the little imp creature, I kind of already want to drop kick him into a field goal. I don't know, something about him. But what did you think of the chapter? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Did you see this coming? What the fuck do you think Nana was about to throw out? And what did you think of the 4 new characters that were introduced? Which one are you most excited for? We all know my answer's the cat girl. Don't even ask. But that is enough out of me, everyone. Be sure to like the video if you made it this far, and be sure to subscribe for more of this dumbass yelling at you through a screen. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye. How pestilent.